of a maze. And why they slipping?
What's up, y'all? Back with another video. This video won't be too long, but it was just on my mind. So I want to talk about it. With the way the world is going today, today, the way the world is going in these particular times, where do you see yourself in the next 10 to 15 years? I like to know because, the way this direction is, the way the world is going, things are shifting very, very fast. In fact, too fast for us to keep up. And, I just want to know what you guys plan on doing as far as sustaining yourself for these next 10 to 15 years. Me, myself, I'm going to, first of all, be in a better position than I am now. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make myself self-sufficient. The things that was never taught to me in school and the things that I never learned, I want to be able to relearn these things that was never taught to me. Because we live in a world where these things are these things are not taught to you, and if these things were taught to us, we would be in a better situation than what we are now today. Like I said, in the previous videos, some people is well off, and there's other people that's not well off. They're struggling because the system has designed everything for us to be like this in this particular fashion. And, it's hard to really sustain yourself when you're in a predicament like that, because nobody knows any better. It's a lot of people going at each other's necks, for a prize that's invisible, instead of having the prize of life. Hear me when I tell you guys. I said the prize of life. That's the biggest reward in this, to be able to live your life in such a peaceful manner, to where you have less stress and you have less as an individual, and you live your life simple, man. We were taught so much to live in a world full of chaos, and we got to keep up with the times, which a lot of folks don't have to keep up with the times. They just do it because of what's being around, because they only do it because what's being shown to them and what they only know for themselves, right? They don't know no better, they don't know any better. And so because they don't know any better, they're gonna blindly just go off of what someone else is doing, And me, myself, again, I'm open to relearn my brain, because the mindset that I had before I became awake is that I had the mindset of a being dumb as a damn rock, and not having any type of conscious thinking, man. The right kind of conscious thinking. You know what I'm saying? And for that, I'm paying a price for it because for the simple fact that I wasn't taught any better, man. And if I was taught any better, I wouldn't put myself in this predicament. And that's what a lot of us people, man. We put in these situations, and I think the times that we're living in is going to force people out of their comfort zones. It's going to get them to a place that they don't want to be in, that they're going to have to find out a way to be in. Meaning they're going to have to relearn. And, once you're comfortable in a lot of situations, you don't want to relearn. You're comfortable with what you're doing. You're comfortable with having the life that you have, right? The unknown is a very scary thing for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? When it's something that you don't have control of, you don't know, you panic. You panic a lot and you worry, because you don't know any better. But to me, in fact, I think it's good for you. I think it's good for you because it helps you to have a better understanding of what you've been missing throughout your whole entire life. A lot of us been missing a lot out of life, right? And it may not seem like a lot because we feel like, oh no, man, this is how life's supposed to be, and this and that, and we've taught these things, man. We're taught these things, and we're not in a position to. But we are in a position, but our mindset is not in a position in a condition to where we think differently, man. We just go, and never stop to think. Which I think in this case, when you start to think about your life, you start to see things that you haven't seen before, man. You really do. And even though it may not be beneficial to you, you wonder like, oh damn, why haven't I thought this before, right? No, you haven't thought this before because you wasn't conditioned to think like this. You wasn't, man. You were conditioned to struggle, right? You were conditioned to struggle. You were conditioned to not think better for yourself. You were conditioned to think that there's nothing more out of life than what you're doing in your life today. And for a lot of us, man, it's a sad situation, man, that we've been put in, man. The powers that be out here, man, is the people that have put us in this predicament are excellent thinkers. And I hate to say that, but they are excellent thinkers, because the reason why I say that is because they have succeeded with how we live in our lives today, and are continuing to keep living our lives. They have succeeded, man. They brainstormed, they put their heads together, and they figured this shit out, and they got us at the palm of their hands, you guys. They got us at the palm of their hands, man, and it's up to us as individuals to get ourselves out of this in some kind of way, right? And again, a lot of people are not going to agree with me on this. They're going to feel like that, that no. They're going to feel like that no, you're supposed to, this is how life is, right? This is how life is, and this is how things are supposed to be, right? But it isn't. It really isn't. You just got to be able to open up your mind. Open up your mind to stuff that you weren't able to open it up to. You know what I'm saying? It may seem like it's a hard thing, but if you really think about it, it's not hard. It's just that they have put our minds in this predicament to think different. Oh snap! Wow. Road is closed. No, I'm driving, y'all, so forgive me. Trying to pick up my nephew, trying to figure out where I'm going, but I don't even know. This is wild, man. This is crazy. Yeah, I'll figure it out. But yeah, like I was saying, man, that you just got to be able to open up your mind, and to be able to receive what you've been missing, and that's what's scary for a lot of folks. And I don't blame you guys for being complacent or being in a situation where you feel like there's no other way out, man. I don't blame you. You know what I'm saying? It's a really, really, really scary thing when you think about it, because for the simple fact that you weren't taught any different. You weren't taught any different. But you got to get out that mind frame of being scared. If you stay in that mind frame of being scared, they got you. You got to be able to put yourself in the mind frame that, hey, you saying to yourself, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get out of this. No matter what it takes, I'm going to get myself out of this. You know what I'm saying? That's all it takes, man. Is for you to create that mindset for yourself. And once you do, it's going to be so freeing that you've amazed yourself. You've amazed yourself, because you're going to be like, wow, I was able to get myself out of this type of mindset that I'm in. Basically. And that I'm able to think, to seriously think, to put my head together, to figure out some things. Even if I can't figure it out, right? Even if I don't have all the words to say in this. You know, you say to yourself, you know, in your mind, you figured it out. It's just that now, in this particular essence, you got to be able to put it together. You know, don't listen to folks that sit here and tell you that you're doing it wrong. Because the moment you have folks telling you that you're doing it wrong, you're going to really believe that you're doing it wrong. And that's the wrong way to be, you know. It's the wrong way to be to let people get into your head, right? You know, the moment that you stop, that's when, you know, again, they got you. But you can't put yourself in that predicament no matter what. You have to fight it no matter what. You have to fight it. And if you're a fighter, then you will get yourself out of these predicaments in your mind. I mean, you free your mind first, and then the rest just follows. The rest just follows because, for the simple fact that, you know, most people, you know, they're in a prison in their own mind. They're in a prison in their own mind, and they don't see no other way out, right? And so, for them, they don't want to even try, right? Again, you know, having this particular mindset that you have, it's not going to always be successful. You know, you're going to fall and bump your head, man. Failure, it may seem like it's a failure, you're a failure, but it's a healthy failure, right? Because you've never been taught any different to think, right? And so there's nothing wrong with your mindset. It is something wrong with your mindset as far as being locked into a prison. But I'm saying as far as freeing yourself, you know, stepping outside of that comfort zone and trying to figure it out. There's nothing wrong with any of that. And a lot of us is going through that. You know, a lot of us free thinkers. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. But I always say in this situation is that we're going to be the ones on the other side, you know, smiling, you know, being the ones that's really happy that we accomplished something that was very scarce. That was very scarce, you know. And so it's very rewarding when you can pull yourself out of that rut. You know what I'm saying? And you just gotta be able to work at it, you guys. You have to be able to work at it. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, that's what it's all about. It's working at it. You know, not being afraid and working towards it. You know, I always say to myself, I'd rather be a person that works towards my mindset and freeing my mind and being put in those elements, as opposed to not wanting to free my mind, not being able to try to figure it out and put it together. You know, the moment I start thinking like that, then I've been defeated. You know, and I don't want to be defeated. You know, I don't want to be the kind of person that you know, sit back and settle. You know, for that type of mindset, because it's not healthy. You know, it's not healthy at all. You know, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Those are the kind of years that I would like. That's, to me, that's not wasteful years, right? That I want to put my mind towards to be better, meaning more self-sufficient. And, you know, if I have to die trying to do that, then I'll do it. You know, it doesn't hurt me, you know, to do that. You know, everybody that shames me and everybody that talks down on me, they're just talking down on themselves, you know, because they're comfortable in their mind frames, right? And I get it. You are. You're in your mind frame that you're in. I get that, right? But it's not going to do me any benefit to do something like that to the next person, because it's not helping my cause, right? My cause is to get out of this prison mindset, right? And being stuck in this capitalistic system. You know what I'm saying? It's not beneficial to anybody. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm going to work towards it, man. You know. So, you know, I mean, that's really it, y'all. It was on my mind to talk about. You know, I wanted to come on here again and make this video to ask you guys that question. You know, it's really helpful, you know, when people like us can come together and talk about something, because it all helps us move closer and closer to a freeing life, you know, a free and simple life, shall I say. And that's what I love the most about it, you know, to have a mind frame like that to work towards, you know, because again, the system out here just don't give a fuck about you. They can give a shit, two shits about you, you know, and we got to be able to get out of that hole, man. You know, for the ones that wants to stay in that particular hole, then, you know, bless you, you know, hey, this it's not for you. I get it, right? But for the ones that want to be able to expand their minds and know for a fact that they can make it out of this, you know, you are the ones that I'm talking to. You're the ones that I want to be able to penetrate your mind to have a better understanding. You know, I want to be able to do that with you guys, because it's rewarding for me. You know, it's very rewarding for me to speak to you guys like this. You know, because even if I'm talking to you guys like this, me making this video, I'm helping myself. Believe it or not, I'm really helping myself. And you know, every day that I make these videos, we educating each other. You know, I'm talking to you, you know, educating you, and I'm educating myself along the way. You know, I'm doing all that, all in one. You know what I'm saying? And so, just think about it, you guys. You know, I mean, but first of all, like I said, just, you know, what you guys want to do the next 10, 15 years. But you know, just think about it. You know, and even for the people who's in the job, right, who feel like that's the end all be all for your life, right? Y'all think about it too, man. Just sit back and think about it, and don't be so quick to just bring somebody down and just talk shit about it, man. Like, it's not gonna do no good for you to just talk down on somebody else because they think outside the box differently than what you do. It doesn't help nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? Just take out the time and think, man. And if you don't come to a conclusion and you be upset, right? If you're gonna be upset, be respectful in you being upset. That's all I'm saying. You know, you don't need to sit here and attack me like I'm doing something wrong to you. As if I like cause you pain and misery. No. I just want to be able to just penetrate people. The ones that want to hear me and listen to me. I want to be able just to, again, you know, let it resonate with y'all. But you know, for the ones who just want to be rebellious or whatever, hey, if you feel like this video resonate with you in some kind of way, even while you're being rebellious, hey, then have at it. You know, but just be respectful, man. Be very respectful. You know. And so yeah, man, you guys leave me some comments down below. You know, please like this video, share this video. It helps me to keep making these videos and giving you guys something to talk about. You know, it really, again, is rewarding. And also too, I forgot to mention to you guys, click on those push notifications so you guys won't miss a video anytime I drop it, because I believe sometimes YouTube controls how you see my videos, and you know, when you click on the push notifications, you stop all of that. So with that being said, you guys, I'm gonna continue to go back on this road to go get my nephew, and you know, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.